Welcome back to Alpha Recap. I'm glad you tuned in. We're walking through the biggest market moves from today's close, and as always, if you have questions, you can reach us at stockalpha.ai.
Great to be here. Lots to unpack from the tape, from big tech momentum to a wave of security suits. Let's dig in.
First up, quick snapshot. Markets closed with notable strength in a couple of mega names. Apple finished the day up about 3% on very heavy volume, and Amazon added about 2.5%, also on heavy turnover.
Yeah, and traders were pointing to elevated liquidity and intraday momentum in both stocks. So not just a price move, but real volume behind it. Right. And while those moves got headlines, there was also a much broader story. A cluster of securities class actions and investigations hit the tape today.
Hold on, say that again? Which companies were named?
We saw filings or solicitations tied to NanoX Imaging, Badger Meter, BlackRock Coffee Bar, Pix NV, GeneDx, Peabody Energy, and ARS Pharmaceuticals. Several law firms like Levi and Korsinski and Hagens Berman were involved.
Wow, okay, that's a pretty cross-sector list. Medical devices, industrials, mining, biotech, small consumer names. Why does that concentration matter?
When multiple filings cluster in one session, it raises headline risk across the market, not just for the companies named. Analysts note that investors rerun cash flow and impairment scenarios when, say, GeneDx faces an accounting or governance probe. That's how a single investigation can ripple into sector stress.
So, what really stands out here is the speed of the reaction, right? Event-driven volatility tends to ramp quickly.
Exactly. Short-term traders treated these as event plays. Volatility desks saw spikes in volume. Allocators and fundamental analysts started rerunning stress tests and tweaking loss assumptions based on the filings.
And what are the near-term legal milestones that could move prices again?
Watch for motions to appoint a lead plaintiff, amended complaints, any 8K or SEC disclosures, and management commentary. Those are the things that typically generate the next leg of volatility.
Not a quiet day for governance headlines.
Nope. And analysts note the pattern suggests heightened regulatory and legal sensitivity in 2026, something portfolio managers may want to explicitly model in their stress tests for small and mid caps.
Switching gears to the big cap momentum you mentioned earlier. Apple and Amazon led the tape. Walk me through what that looked like in practical terms.
Apple climbed about 3% to finish near $284 on roughly 256 million shares traded. Amazon finished around $233 on about 241 million shares.
So big moves and big volume to match. What does that tell traders?
Heavy volume in megacaps can precede sector rotation or re-rating moments. Traders look to see whether moves are driven by fundamentals, index flows, or short covering. Elevated liquidity reduces execution friction, but it also makes sentiment flip faster. Momentum indicators matter for near-term technical positioning.
Right. And the other thing is options and implied volatility. Those are immediate places to check for conviction heading into the next session.
Exactly. If options traders are buying conviction, that shows up quickly in implied volatility and skew.
Short reaction.
Yeah, that tracks.
Let's talk energy for a minute. A pretty big development in Europe today around battery storage.
Right. Envision Energy and Elements Green unveiled the Staydorf Battery Energy Storage System, about 1,600 megawatt hours of capacity for northern Germany. That's a material grid-scale project.
1,600 megawatt hours. That's moving beyond pilot projects into real scale.
Exactly. When storage projects hit that scale, they signal more sophisticated offtake arrangements, permitting experience, and larger capex schedules. Energy and infrastructure investors will be focused on offtake agreements, timelines, and financing details.
How does that connect to vendors and supply chains?
Demand for battery cells, power electronics, and contractors rises with these multi-hundred to thousand megawatt-hour deployments. So you can see knock-on effects for publicly listed renewables names and for the industrial supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
And development news popped up in real estate, too. A 348-unit net zero mixed-use project in Villa Park cleared approvals, and another public-private project broke ground in Draper. Those are execution signals that can accelerate contractor revenue if financing and permits follow.
Okay, quick pause. AI and standards made headlines as well, right?
Yeah, we had a mix of commercialization and policy. Greencore Solutions launched an AI agent knowledge graph for consumer goods and announced an Asia-Pacific joint venture. Brahma AI signed a memorandum with a Japanese tech firm to scale digital humans in that region. And standards bodies like ANSI and INTA put out forums to explore AI's legal and IP implications.
Interesting combo. Commercial contracts and legal frameworks moving in parallel.
Exactly. That two-track dynamic is what analysts flagged. Vendors racing to commercialize agentic and avatar tech, while standards and IP authorities accelerate the policy dialogue. Watch vendor wins, like Omnicom picking up a big account from IBM, as operational signals for service revenue and possible margin impacts.
Digital humans really are the next chapter.
I mean, when you step back and look at this, it's both fascinating and complicated. Commercial rollout and legal clarity have to move together, or litigation and licensing frictions will slow adoption.
Mm-hmm.
On travel and financing, United announced new nonstop routes to Cartagena starting December 17th from Houston and Dulles. Incremental capacity, but notable. And MUFG led a JOLCO financing for Viva Aerobus, which signals aircraft financing activity in the Japanese lease market.
Got it. And federal procurement?
Kentro landed a spot on NASA's SOUP-6 government-wide acquisition contract, opening the door to multi-year IT task orders. Those task orders can be meaningful revenue drivers over time.
Biotech and pharma. Any headline-level items worth calling out?
ASI said it would present a broad slate at the Alzheimer's conference, including updates on lecanemab. Ever Supreme launched a Phase 2A trial for an allogeneic CAR T, and ARS Pharmaceuticals sold off after 0 formulary additions in a CVS Caremark cycle, which coincided with a Levi and Korsinski investigation opening.
Clinical readouts and formulary decisions remain primary catalysts then.
Absolutely. Enrollment pace, safety committee notes, and payer commentary are the things that move these names the most.
Quick reactions. Right.
Short and to the point.
A couple of rapid-fire operational notes. A cybersecurity partnership focused on deepfake detection, recognition, and conference visibility for some smaller tech vendors. And a reminder that public pension settlement checks, more than $2 million, remain uncashed in one case. Small operational frictions, but real.
Those are the kinds of details that matter to operations and governance teams. They don't move markets the way big contracts do, but they matter for execution risk.
Before we close, what should people watch tomorrow?
Track legal filings and motions for the names we mentioned. That's the quickest potential source of price action. Watch for any early conference releases from the Alzheimer's conference. Check whether Apple and Amazon keep their volume into the next session and monitor options flows for conviction. And finally, any permitting, offtake, or financing detail on the Stadorf battery project would be a follow-up to watch.
Great. Quick checklist takeaway for listeners. Give me 3 bullets.
1. Litigation activity broadened across sectors today, creating near-term headline risk for small and mid-caps. 2. Heavy volume and gains in Apple and Amazon put liquidity and leadership concentration back in focus. 3. Energy storage is scaling to grid-level projects in Europe, signaling a shift from pilots to commercial deployments.
Solid. And a reminder, this is informational. Analysts note and data suggest short-term volatility around these themes, and the episode shouldn't be taken as investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell anything.
Right. No personalized advice here, just context and what to watch.
If you have questions about anything we covered today, head to stockalpha.ai, where you can ask us directly and we'll answer live. For more market analysis and insights, visit stockalpha.ai. Thanks for listening to Alpha Recap.
Thanks. See you next episode.